Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Is with your boy X.
And this,
You already know what to do. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on our YouTube channel, please go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future.
ding.
Thank you for that, Ish. And as well, if you are on X slash Twitter slash whatever you want to call it nowadays, go ahead and check us out. X Talking Ish, and you can check us out on Periscope, and I'll go ahead and retweet it on my personal page at X underscore Williams 81. Thank y'all once again, as always, for tuning in to X Talking Ish. Our apologies for joining y'all a little late tonight. We had to
Just a
get some
little
things,
bit.
some things squared away over here on our end. But as always, if y'all tune in on the podcast, we won't be late for you guys because you can tune in anytime you want. So it ain't late. We right on time. But for
Right.
everybody that's waiting for the live, we do apologize. Just had to take care of some grown folk stuff on this end, but we Gucci over here. Let's get right into the thick of things. But as always, before we do that, I'd like to see how everything's going on with my brother Ish. How you doing over there, sir?
Chilling, man. Another day, another dollar. How's it going for you, sir?
Not gonna lie, it's one of them times where I wish we could talk about some college football. The way Colorado on prime time
Man.
showed up on Saturday.
Ooh, man, I was so
I know
excited.
it's more of an NFL show here what we do, but whew,
Mm,
prime time in Colorado got the football community a buzzing, and no matter if you like them or not, they for you gonna talk about them,
We're gonna
So
talk
it's
about them for real. They
very
real.
interesting. Been a very interesting span of 72 hours, just seeing how Dion would say you didn't believe, and then everything played out,
Believe
and
now.
it's either you believe or you just gonna call it what it is, So we just gonna see what happens over the next several more weeks. September is gonna be a very big month for Colorado and the crew to see if we're being real, if they are real. That's what we're going to see real
Yeah.
quick against Oregon and against USC towards the end of the month. Travis Crow tunes in on Facebook. He says, "Yo, what's good, family? Nothing much. We just giving you
Yeah.
guys what y'all want to hear.
Travis.
Maybe not Ish. If you
Yeah,
stay
don't.
tuned in, Trav. Ish
Yeah.
got some bad news for you, but again, that's why you play the game. The game is not played on paper." So we'll talk about that in about another 20 to 25 minutes of what I was talking about in regards of what Ish has for Cowboy Nation. So let's go ahead and get into um, obviously news heading into Thursday. The biggest news at the moment, and that's Travis Kelsey this morning around the afternoon time frame. Some breaking news came out, and Travis Kelsey decided to tweak his knee there a little bit, and it was a hyperextension of his knee. And anybody that has hyperextended their knee before, Ish, I don't know if you have, but I know that I have had that happen to me before. A lot of H's there.
It's no
Um,
fun.
it is not fun. It is not fun at all. And if I'm being completely honest with you, Ish, I remember it happening to myself when I was at the crib, just playing some pickup football right in front of the crib, and my knee went backwards, or my whole leg went backwards, and it felt like at the time my leg was gone. That's just how bad it pretty much
What were
feels.
you doing?
You said one more time.
I was asking, what were you doing?
I was actually playing football with my boy Eddie, or rest in peace, and we was out
Yeah.
in front of his yard, and there was a nice little pothole in his grass.
Concrete heroes,
No,
huh?
no, no, we were in the grass.
Oh, y'all were in the grass, huh?
Yeah, yeah, no, we were in
Ooh.
the grass. Yeah,
No cleats on.
I got caught. Yeah, yeah, no cleats, no cleats. Got caught in a little pothole. Leg stayed one way, the knee went the other way. Bop, bop. And just on the ground, holding my knee real quick. Luckily, for like I said, for myself, it was just a hyperextension, nothing too crazy. But even with a hyperextension, that's one thing that you really don't want to play with.
Uh-uh.
That's you want to take this seriously, especially a guy like Travis Kelsey, especially going into what could be another very special season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 1 does not win you a Super Bowl. Week 4 doesn't win you a Super Bowl. Hell, Week 8 don't even win you a Super Bowl. So Kansas City Chiefs is going to do what they need to do as a team and organization to make sure that they manage this properly. At the moment, ish, I'll be kind of surprised if he plays. They did run some
I don't think he
MRIs.
will.
They did run some MRIs on him, and they said everything came back negative. ACL is intact, so that's of course great news for Kansas City faithful. But overall, yeah, I mean, 2 days. Again, this is Tuesday and the game is on Thursday. If the game was
Yeah.
on Sunday, even or of course even obviously on Monday, yeah, you could probably rehab him for the next 4 or 5 days. He could be good to go and won't have to worry about it. But I just feel like these 2 days it's just a quick turnaround and have to worry about something long term happening with this. Is your thoughts?
Yeah, as you said, you don't win the season in week one. And but I do think there are ways you could lose the season in week one. And I would be surprised if he plays. He may be out there for a couple snaps. I doubt it. I don't think he should even suit up. I think just hold him out and go ahead and play the Lions.
Ooh, Fracture One says just hold them out. It's just the Lions now.
Man, that some people might see that as being very disrespectful, but
Well, respect.
history would is on your side.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, respect is when it's earned, right? You get your respect when you're able to go out there and punch the big guy, the bully on the block. You punch him in the square in the mouth and knock him out, and then everybody will look at you a little bit differently. I think even so, I think this game is kind of messed up for the Lions, right? Because if they go to Kansas City and they win this game, and no matter if they win it handily or they win it by a field goal or a couple points or so, there's still going to be question marks. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't have Travis Kelsey. They're not, full form right now. We already know what Patrick Mahomes and the crew can do. So it's really on the Lions to show us how good they really are. But then if they, of course, if they go in there and lose, oh, same old Lions. Yeah, all right. I don't expect them to do anything anyways. I mean, it's just the Lions, right? So, I mean, I think the Lions go into this matchup with a lose-lose situation here. Um, I think the Lions are a serious contender in the NFC. I think that they can make a run,
Hmm.
but in reality is it's on them the same way that Joe Burrow was able to orchestrate getting the Bengals to the Super Bowl. It's on that crew, that internal crew, to say we're not the old Lions, right? We're not the old Bengals. We're not the old Jets. We're not the old Raiders. Whoever the old Cardinals, whoever the distinct franchise organization of years of just badness, the Cleveland Browns. You have to come together for at least 1 year to say we can make a change, at least for this year. You
Hmm.
can have a 4 to 10 year run until you start off with year one, right? And if the Lions want to start something moving forward with this crew, it starts here at week one, and it's on them to win this game to then be able to take this momentum moving forward the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? So, like, if you're going to start, I think last year was a good year for them. It was a step in the right direction, and you want to continue that momentum. And this is a great opportunity to continue that momentum. Not that if they lose, the all things halt. Like, you can still continue to move forward. There are definitely things you could take out of a loss here to the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 1 that can still be positive, but at the end of the day, they want to go out there, they want to win, they want to make a statement. What better way to make a statement to the league that you are for real? Last year was not a fluke by going out there and beating the defending champions. So yeah, I totally see this as a great opportunity for the Lions. I think that they're gonna go out there, they're gonna play really hard. They are dealing with a couple suspensions, but at the same time, they I think they like the us against the world mentality, especially because let's be honest, Detroit has struggled for a long, long, long time. So any sort of positivity, any sort of movement in the right direction,
It's a
um,
good thing.
it's a good thing. It's a great thing. So yeah.
Let's get to the comment section right quick. Fresh one that says Lions are a good team. That you got to get rid of that bad stigma around them and just lock in and focus on their locker room. Travis Crow says put them in for one play. That's easy money on Prize Picks. He's talking about Travis Kelsey. Um, as you can see, Travis Crow is riding on the Prize Picks this year. Of course, I'll be giving out my promo code throughout the season. You're more than welcome to join in on the fun. Last year, I had not so much fun with Prize Picks, and right now
You did not.
I'm pretty sure I won't be having too much fun. But we'll get that all squared away once the season gets going. Let me also throw out, of course, if you're tuning in and you might have forgotten, make sure you tune in all season long. You get a chance to be able to win a mini helmet signed by Mr. Leonard Williams. of the New York Jets previously, and you'll be able to, of course, take that home with you. And like Ish said, I am not delivering it to your
Hand
home.
delivered.
No, I will
Hand
not.
delivered.
No, I will not.
Yeah.
I know Ish would love to do it himself personally. That's why he
Man,
keeps
X
throwing
said
me out
hand
there.
delivered.
But I will best believe you send me your address. I'll send it out to you. So make sure you tune in. I'll give you guys some clues, and we'll go from there. Next week, this upcoming Sunday ish, we'll of course we'll have our pregame show when we preview the slate of the NFL games on Sunday, and again that will be the official start of the clues that will be thrown out there the rest of the regular season, and we'll again we'll have some fun. Hopefully you guys can win something, and we'll then you can take a picture of it, and then we'll display it here on the show moving forward to let everybody know that hey, you guys are able to win some things. Check it out the show. Fresh One also says I'm gonna need X to knock on my door when I win. I'm not coming to your house. I have no problem. We can what we can do. We can meet up somewhere for a drink. We can get us a drink somewhere. You can have it. Take a couple pictures there. We can do all that. Now if you want me to come to the house, that's fine. But I don't think you I don't think you want
Hand
me to come to the
delivered.
house. That's Ish being extra as always. But anyways, lay Ish. All right, let's go ahead and move on to and what we do every season before the season starts, which is of course our playoff prediction. I want to add a little razzle to our dazzle this season and add a couple of more things. So we'll be doing the three underrated teams. We'll have three overrated teams, and we'll also have five bold predictions. So let's get into that right quick with our three underrated teams, and I'll display them on the screen right now. And I'll start with Ish and let Ish start off. Ish has the Broncos, Steelers, and Packers. For myself, I have the Steelers, Packers, and Texans. Ish.
Oh, 2 out of 3. Two out
Now,
of
now before you go though, let's remind everybody about all of these teams and all these predictions. We do not collab with one another. We do not talk to one
no,
another about this.
no,
So all of
no.
this is by each other.
Definitely.
Like we didn't do this. I promise
We
you.
are as shocked as you
We are
guys
as shocked
are
as y'all are going to be
when
when it comes
things
to a lot of
line
these.
up. It's crazy to us as well. But either way, yeah, essentially the Broncos, I think the Broncos were a better team than their record was last year. The coaching was just horrendous and terrible. And I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on. I think with Sean Payton coming in, a proven winner, um, and a roster, like I said, that wasn't that bad, a team that wasn't that bad as their record was. They have one of the best corners in the league in PS2. Russell Wilson, is going to be motivated. He's going to be looking to, turn things around and have everybody, remember that he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Um, I think that with their weapons, they got a lot of people coming back from injury as well from last year. The Broncos are a team that they're underrated. I think people aren't really checking for them like they should. They're not showing them the respect they should. I think they will be competitive in the AFC West. I don't necessarily think they'll make the playoffs, but I still think they'll be very competitive. For the Steelers, I think the Steelers, the biggest thing is we're looking at the offensive line and we're looking at the young quarterback that's starting because that's the situation that you got in Pittsburgh. But I think it's a Mike Tomlin led team. It's a team that honestly last year they showed a lot for you and they're still going to be there. There's a lot of questions in the AFC North other than Cincinnati. I mean, let's be honest, we're still not sold on Baltimore. We don't really know what we're going to get from OBJ, Lamar Jackson, and co. Because again, like the last, I don't know how many years now, they're returning a bunch of people from injury. So they still got to figure that whole thing out. They got to figure out on defense, is this defense going to turn things around and be the elite defense that they once were? I don't really know. With Cleveland, they're Cleveland. I don't care about Deshaun Watson being there. It's Cleveland. And then last but not least, I do think for me, the Packers are a team. They've gotten rid of the shadow of Aaron Rodgers. Um, I also believe they have a lot of talent on their team. They're not horrible, and they happen to be in the NFC North, which, honestly speaking, beside Minnesota, it's there. It's there. The Lions we just talked about, they historically haven't been that great. So you could the Packers have with Aaron Rodgers been the boogeyman for the Lions. Now Aaron Rodgers is gone. Are we gonna see something from Jordan Love? Is he gonna be as good as we expect him to be? Um, that receiving core, are they growing up now? Because they were very young last year. Are they gonna another year under their belt? The new tight ends, they got a whole new tight end core around there. I mean, there's a lot of question marks, but I still think that at the end of the day, the Green Bay Packers are not in a complete rebuild. They're rebuilding, but not in a complete rebuild from my standpoint. And I think that with the NFC North, they'll be able to compete a little bit. We're gonna see what happens, but I do think that they're being overlooked because a lot of people are thinking, Aaron Rodgers is gone, it's gonna be complete chaos, and I don't think it's that.
I love the teams that you picked. Obviously, the Steelers and Packers, because I picked them as well. But my question mark really is the Broncos because I don't know how much of last year was is really Russell Wilson
Mhm.
or this obviously head coaching. I mean, obviously the coaching
Right,
aspect
Hackett was
wasn't good.
horrible. Come on.
This is true. I mean, there's no way around that, right? That's not what we're questioning at all. My question is Russell Wilson even as good as he was, a smidget as good as he was in Seattle? Because
Yeah,
let's be real, there were players on his Seattle team that were questioning, Russ, you're good, but you're not as good as you think you are. You're as good because you play on this team. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how this all plays out. I don't know if everybody saw that quote from Sean Payton talking about, you're not out here politicking to be in somebody's office kissing babies out here. So um,
Bronco
this
Nation, let's ride.
this could be a great thing for Russell Wilson to have somebody in his ass to get him back going again, or this could be the beginning of the end for Russell Wilson as an NFL quarterback. Because I don't think he becomes a backup quarterback. I think he says, "Hey, if I'm not a starter no more, I'm
I'm
out of
gonna play
here.
baseball.
I'll go in and be Papa with Sierra and keep moving." But
We'll see.
I'm saying, but for the Steelers and the Packers, the Steelers are the Steelers, right? When I look at them, I expect them to be over 500, right? Mike Tomlin. Um, I think they would be better on both sides of the ball this upcoming year. And with that being said, they finished the season last year 9-8. And if I expect them to be better, then that means hopefully they can win 10 games. And they played really well. I know it's the preseason. I'm not going to put too much weight on the preseason because I'll say that about any team.
Mm-hmm.
But Kenny Pickett looked a lot better this year than he did any time of last year. And
100%.
again, I know it's preseason, but I was just looking for Kenny just to look a little
It's a
bit more
step in the right
comfortable in the
direction.
pocket. And it looks like we're seeing progression. We see the connection with him and Pickens outside as well. And it seems as though that a lot of these young Steeler players are set for a breakout year, right? And if that's the case, watch out, right? I think that's what's going to happen in the AFC North, to where the most of the talk is for the Ravens and even the Bengals, but the Steelers, I see a lot of sports books have them coming in last in that division, but I don't see a division. I'm sorry, I don't see a team like the Steelers coming in last place with type of
No.
pride that they have as a team. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how that all pans out. Fresh one that says Pickens was balling as well. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I'll go on to the Packers. The reason why I have the Packers on here for myself is like you said, a division, the NFC North. There's the Lions. It's their division to lose, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's the Vikings. The Vikings division to lose. And even with that being said, there's no guarantee that the Vikings win, because if you look at the Lions, I mean, again, on paper, the Lions look really good, and they could, and they might, and they probably should win this division if you look at the whole aspect of the team.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if you look at the Packers as well, maybe they are that sneaky little team that's able to find a way to. I don't think win the division. I just think
No,
they're the
no,
third best
not win the
team for a
division.
reason. But I think Jordan Love plays a lot better than people expect. Maybe they win 7, 8 games, right? Maybe they put themselves in position where they gain some confidence moving forward, and they know that Jordan Love is the guy. It'd be interesting to see how that contract plays itself out in the offseason due to him being off, coming off that rookie contract. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting how that plays off. But I hope for Jordan Love, for his sake, he's able to come in, play well, and earn a contract that he's trying to hopefully get and having to wait behind Aaron Rodgers for so long. I'll finish it off with the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Now, again, you can look at this at different sides of the coin, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that feel as though that they're going to have another 5, maybe 6, another 4, 5, 6 win season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that's necessarily the case. I think they have a lot of young talent that and the coaching staff is going to allow them to go out and go play. And what I mean by that is going out and go play freely and having fun. And that's on both sides of the ball. And I just look at the team chemistry the same way. A lot of people bring up the Ravens team chemistry with just everybody involved in there. And you can bring up either the Steelers or I don't know who else to think of. I was talking about maybe the 49ers. But certain teams, the reason why obviously you get to the next level, and I'll throw out the Kansas City Chiefs because they just won a Super Bowl last year, is because you have a certain team chemistry, team dynamic. Mm-hmm. And with the Texans, with this young crew, I think it works in their favor because when they go into games, they're going to say, "Why not? Why not us?" We don't have nothing to play for. We don't have anything to lose, and I expect them to win a minimum of 7 games ish. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people when I say this, but I expect them to win 7 games. Yeah,
7 games.
7 games. 7 games.
Wow.
Book it right here on X Talking In. I think the Texans are a slept-on team that can make some noise. And once the Texans beat the Titans, I can already hear Houston Texans fans right now on my ass about them beating the Titans. But I expect them to make a little noise in the AFC South. Fresh Runner says the division is somewhat wide open. Jags look good, but they be able to hold on. Again, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the Jags. I don't. It's between the Jags. It's between the Jags and the Titans for the division, right?
So I'm assuming you have the Texans splitting at least with all of the teams in the division.
I think they could. Yeah, I think they really could.
I'm looking at this. I don't think they beat the Ravens. Okay, maybe we get them the Colts at home. They lose to the Jags.
All right, you're going to have to hurry up this game. We got other stuff to talk about. We ain't going to look down the damn Texans schedule.
Oh, no, they beat the Falcons. Maybe they'll beat the Falcons. They lose to the Saints. Maybe they beat the Panthers.
Let's remind everybody, though, Ish, last year when they were bad and they were actually trying to lose, remember, Ish, they were in most of their games before they decided to lose. Now you're actually coming into a season where you're supposed to win, unless you just don't want to win because of your draft positioning with the Cardinals. I mean, maybe that aspect, but I don't know why you don't go out here.
You know what? It's possible. It's possible. On the high end, it's possible. The 6 to 7 games, I could actually see it walking through.
I'm just saying again, if you look at what happened last year with this team, they were in most of their games. Why not this year?
Yeah, 6 to 7, I can see it. I'm walking.
I'm happy you're coming along. I'm happy you're coming along. I appreciate that. Frank Warner says the Colts with no JT, they have a solid chance. Also, almost beat your Chiefs ish in the Cowboys.
Oh, shut that up. Almost beat the Chiefs.
Oh, that's funny. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the 3 overrated teams going into this 2023, 2024 NFL season. See how fast this pandemic last 3-4 years have gone by? I mean, Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm still back in 2011 from time to time.
Stupid.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the 3 overrated teams. I'll go first. I'll just say my teams, and I'll throw it to you, Ish, and I'll let you explain your teams. I have the Ravens, Bengals, and Bills. Ish has the Lions, Cowboys, and Chargers. Ish, take it away.
Yeah, real quick, the Lions. I'm sorry, but the Lions, I know a lot of people are saying potentially win the division. A lot of people are saying that they can, give Minnesota a run for their money. maybe even make a run in the playoffs. I, I got to see it first. I'm just I have watched enough Detroit Lions football to know that when there's a lot of hype, they tend to crumble. And I just don't know if this team quite has that makeup of being able to get over that hump with that winning mentality and being the leader of the division, being the hunted. I think they like being the hunters. They're gonna find it a little bit harder this year. They will be hunted in some scenarios, and then with the Cowboys, I think they finished last in the NFC East. If I'm being honest, I think they will be the last team in the NFC East.
Whoa, wowzers!
Yeah, I think the
Felt like there'll be
Commanders.
a lot of changes going on in Dallas after the offseason.
Yeah, I think the Commanders finish ahead of them. I definitely think the Eagles and the Giants finish ahead of them. I just don't think this is the same team that they were a couple years ago, and that everybody is still. I think we're really hung up on the team they were offensively, especially on that offensive line years ago. They are not that team anymore. Now, defensively, they are. We got Parsons who's able to make some noise. He's able to put pressure on people, and you got Diggs, who from time to time is able to create a little bit of mayhem in the backside, but he does get beat a lot as well. So it's like a double-edged sword on that side. And then offensively, like I said, they're just not that team. A lot of people want them to be this team that they were a couple years ago when they really were in the thick of things. And I just don't see them being that anymore until they find a new identity, because I think their identity is still based off of something they weren't. That they are no longer. I mean to say. And then last but not least, the Chargers. I think there's a lot of hype this year. Some people saying the Chargers, this the year they're going to beat the Chiefs. They're going to win the division this year. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. To be honest, I see this being the year where my boy, what's the head coach now? I just got a blank.
Brandon Staley,
Brandon Staley is gone.
gone. About
Brandon
time.
Staley is gone.
I'm
I
okay
mean,
with that.
yeah, and that statement that you just made is exactly why all this noise that I'm hearing about them, they're overrated, because it's about time. He is a terrible coach. This guy has lucked his way into being here as long as he has, because they are a very talented team. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not talented, but this guy is not a head coach. Okay, he's not the coach for this team, and he is gonna be gone. I just do not see it for the Chargers. I don't think that he quite has the game plan or anything to help them make it as far as they should go. So he's gone. They're overrated.
I love the picks. Wow. I definitely might have to agree with you on that one for the Chargers. If the Chargers are not getting it done, and just like Fractal said, if they're not getting it done early in the season,
Gone.
Brandon Staley might be getting his walking papers, and it might be a situation like it was in the playoffs last year, where just leave his ass in Jacksonville. Don't even let him get on the team plane. Let his ass stay in Jacksonville and think about what he just did. Fractal, you also asked earlier, how long is Judy out? My apologies, I didn't get a chance to answer that one. At the moment, I'm actually reading a report about 14 hours ago stating that he was able to participate in sprints and running drills, but no timetable on if he'll be available for week one. So that's another unfortunate thing for Jared Judy and the Broncos is Jared Judy. I mean, it's never really healthy. I don't know what it is with that situation. But anyways, let me get to my three overrated teams. I don't know this is my boy Big X right here, Xavier Green. He said you better not say it. What he's saying is he's talking about his Ravens. I have to put the Ravens up there, the Bengals and the Bills, mainly for the most part for the Ravens. And I'm saying this because I actually had a conversation with our guy Adrian Lunsford earlier today on the way home from work, and he likes to joke with me that I'm a Lamar hater. In reality, I'm really not a Lamar hater. I actually enjoy Lamar. I think he's a hell of an athlete, hell of a quarterback. He's everything that football needs. Like I'm just none of that. My concern and my pressing issue when it comes to Lamar is being accurate when it's needed. When we need a 12-yard out, and we need you to hit that receiver right here on that outside hash. Can you make that throw? And with them changing offensive coordinators to where it's probably going to be more pass, probably 65% pass than run, this is going to be very interesting how this plays out. We're not even talking about the added weapons that he has. My question is, can Lamar actually make these consistent throws from week 1 to all the way to week 18? Yes, he's a hell of an athlete. Yes, he's a great quarterback. I'm not taking any of that away from him.
You
My
are.
question is, as always, my question is can this offense work with Lamar's skill set? Because maybe the offense that he was running prior to this, where he was able to run and have design runs, maybe it was a great offense for him, and that allowed him to win an MVP, and that got him to multiple playoff appearances. Is this an offense that can maybe hinder his his performance as a quarterback? I think that's something to definitely look into moving forward. So that's why I have them as an over 18, especially depending on if injury bug will bite them once again. I hope not for them, but we'll see what happens with the Ravens. The Bengals, I love them as a team. I think they are fun and exciting to watch, but they're already starting on bad omens before the season even start with Joe Burrow's calf injury. Again, Joe Burrow is a great talent, but what I don't want to see him turn into is the next version or the next generation of Andrew Luck, where you go in and you're supposed to be this franchise guy for 15 years, and unfortunately, just injuries caught up to you, and you're not able to get past 30 years old and playing in the league. I don't want that to happen to Joe Burrow. And if the Bengals are not careful with this investment, they might find a way that they will be looking back in the Super Bowl appearance in the next 10, 15 years and say, man, we missed out on a great opportunity with Joe Burrow. That's what I hope not for them. But if they don't play their cards right, especially with a tough division that they play in, they could find their way missing the playoffs. Buffalo Bills. Bills, well, I mean, you say you feel the same way that you feel about the Lions. I feel the same way about the Buffalo Bills. This is a team that almost every year when they have a good team, they always get hyped that they're going to make it to a Super Bowl, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that, and they fall short. A couple years ago, of course, they had a great AFC championship game matchup with the Chiefs, and that's what led to the rules change in overtime, right? Rules finally changed in overtime. It didn't matter because y'all asses couldn't even get there in the first place. So now that all this is squared away, you already got some bantering, of course, in the offseason with Stephon Diggs. I love me some Diggs. I have no issue with him. But there is an issue, obviously, in Buffalo. They said we got squashed. Let's hope so, because I want to see Buffalo be able to live up to their potential, especially going into a new stadium that they plan on building soon. But at this point, is it the organization themselves that just have their own mindset holding them back? Like I don't know what it is when it comes to this organization, but it just seems like the Bills just can't get over their own mental hurdle. And until they do so, like you said with the Chargers, right? And I'll talk about them in the next couple of minutes, but until we see y'all finally take the bull by the nuts and say we're going to go ahead and win this division, we're going to go ahead and get to a conference championship game, we're finally getting to a Super Bowl, we can't take y'all seriously because we just seen a team do it with Joe Burrow and the crew. We've seen a team like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles be able to live up to expectations and do what they need to do to get to a Super Bowl. They didn't finish it, but they got to a Super Bowl. But with these three teams that I've named, besides the Bengals, they went to a Super Bowl recently. They gotta step it up, because at this moment, I feel like it's now or never for the Bills and for the Ravens for the most part. Because if you look at this next crew of quarterbacks and college players coming in, we got some bad motherfuckers coming. So if you don't get your Super Bowl now, it might be tough, because Patty Mahomes might scoop up the ones you ain't supposed to get either. Fresh Wanda says they need to trade Higgins and get picks, and an O-line back need to protect Joe, even though it was a non-contact injury. Yes, sir. He also says it's too many internal issues for the Bills. Either they win the Super Bowl or they have a top 5 pick, in my opinion. Ish.
Wow. There's a lot to take in there. One, you're a Lamar Jackson hater. That has been
Oh,
confirmed.
Lord. Here we go.
I don't see how giving him the ball, putting the ball in his hands more slows down or limits his
How
growth.
about this? In the words of Bruno Mars, don't believe me, just watch. Okay.
Okay, I won't believe
When
you.
the
I'm
season
just
starts, we'll see how this all pans out,
yep.
and we'll go from there.
All
All
right.
right. 5 bold predictions. I'll start off with my boy Ish, and we'll come back to myself. But I want Ish to run down his 5 bold predictions, and
Yeah, I've already said Cowboys are going to finish last in the NFC East. The Cardinals won't finish with the worst record. There will be somebody worse than the Cardinals. All three quarterbacks will play for the Titans this season. At some point, we're going to see all three of them. Anthony Richardson, he going to lead the Colts in rushing yards. Well, we already know JT. I guess he boycotting or something. I don't know. And Trevor Lawrence, he going to win the MVP.
first of all, you talk about haters. You are a Titan hater because
No, what are you
ain't
talking
no way in
about?
hell all
How do
three
you
of the
know I
fools.
was being malicious by saying all three quarterbacks are going to play? I mean, it
Because
could
that's the
be.
only way, sir.
No, 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 no. You know,
Okay.
they could get up by a lot in some games, which then lets the younger quarterback play in one of those. And then later in the season, there
Sir,
are
sir.
injuries and
I was
stuff
born
that
that night.
happen.
I was born that
And
night, not last night. Okay.
I mean, okay,
Okay.
fine.
All right. You can keep playing me like I'm Boo Boo the Fool. We ain't doing that tonight, sir. Well, I will say I like number 5. I like number 5. I think that's a very sneaky pick to have Trevor Lawrence win MVP because all the makings are there. Obviously, he played the quarterback position, coming in the second year in this system. You got Calvin Ridley. I mean, the pieces are there. Maybe the defense plays a little bit better than they did last year. I think the defense was very iffy and spotty
Mhm.
throughout the season.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Obviously, the first half of the playoff game, they didn't show up. Second half of the playoff game, they showed up. So again, if the defense could be a little bit more consistent, I like as Fresh Wonder says, I like the London Jags to
Man,
be the first organization to be an overseas team to receive an MVP
that's right.
candidate. Also, number 2, when we talked about this offline, I
Yep.
was going to actually put the same thing when it comes to the Cardinals not finishing with the worst record. I think in some way, somehow, they won't finish with the worst record. I don't know who right now, but maybe the Bucks. The
Mm,
Bucks. I don't know.
that's a good shout. That's a good
Maybe.
shout.
And we might unfortunately not see Todd Bowles as quarterback. I'm sorry, as a head coach anymore. Kobe Gardner with a bold prediction: Jags to the AFC Championship game. Hmm, interesting. Very bold there. Bryce Ron also says, and on top of that, he has a great set of hair. And he's talking about, of course,
Yes, yes,
Trevor
he does. Yes,
Lawrence,
he does.
sunshine. All right, let me go ahead and get into my 5 bold predictions. Number 1, I have the Chargers will have 3 wide receivers that will surpass 1,000 yards in receiving. Number 2, I have this will be Bill Belichick's last season as Patriots head coach. Number 3, Stephon Diggs gets traded mid-season. Number 4, Dak gets hurt, and Trey Lance comes in and saves the Cowboys season. And number 5, Danny Wooden-Nickel, aka Danny Dimes, will have more rushing yards than
You've been learning a
Saquon
thing or
at the
two.
end of the season. Now, see, unlike you, Ish, I'm actually, I actually love my friends and I love my family members, and I want to make sure that they enjoy their football season instead of be mean spirited and malicious like some people. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that your boy Danny Dimes is going to have a decent, rushing season. That's not the problem. The problem is why are you going to have more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley? And if that is the case,
Because he's
I
the
think Saquon Barkley is out of there in New York and he's going
nah, bro, nah,
elsewhere.
bro. It's not even a slight against Saquon because I almost put that Danny Downs would lead the Giants in rushing yards. We talked about this before the show
You
when
did.
we kind of saw the list, but for me, it's not even one of those things where it's like it's a bad thing for Saquon. I think Danny Dimes just is that guy, man. He can run, he can throw, he can catch. Like he's like Booby Miles from Friday Night Lights,
Oh, here
man.
you go. Here you go.
He can kick the field goals. He can put the baby down to sleep. He paints your fence.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he does it all, Danny Dimes.
You can't even say that with a straight face, sir.
Danny Dimes, he does it all, baby. He does it all. But the one that I do really like that you have on here though is what is it? Number 2? Is
Bill
that?
Belichick's last season.
Oh well, I like number 2, but number 3, I like
Stephon.
Stephon being traded by midseason. Yeah, I like that. I think because I'm pretty much on board with that. I think they say the beef got squashed. I don't know about
It's
that.
squashed when things are good and when people are winning. But when things start getting ugly and things, we're not winning and it start getting cold in Buffalo by mid-October, and get me the hell up out of here. I want to go somewhere where I can win a Super Bowl. Maybe come down to Dallas, play with your brother.
Maybe.
Shout out to Fracture One. Yeah, he can tackle too when he tackled himself. Yeah.
Yo.
Ran so fast. Just ran so fast. Couldn't put the next foot in front of him, huh?
Yeah, jokes. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, y'all need to stop that nonsense.
Now I know you talked about this in the pre-show when it comes to number 4, when it comes to Dak getting hurt. Now we're used to Dak missing a couple of games throughout the season due to some type of injury.
Mm-hmm.
I expect that to continue to happen this upcoming season, and maybe Trey Lance comes in and allows the Cowboys to make it into the playoffs with his play. And we saw what happened last year when Cooper Rush came in. It was all good one week, and then after that, it was like, all right, when Dak coming back? I think this is an upgrade at quarterback, even though we haven't really seen Trey Lance really play like that in the NFL. And also, honestly, we haven't really seen him play like that in college football. Giving him a new ground to be in, like I talked about last week, being able to move to one team to another, it can help you out tremendously within your career. And maybe this is something that Trey Lance needs and needed to be able to just get out of there and get away from all the hoopla of you being picked after all these picks were traded for you and this, that, and third, and blah, blah, blah. And as they say all the time is, everybody loves a backup quarterback, right? So if you come in there and you do your thing, maybe
right.
you
get Cooper though. Cooper is coming in and playing. Trey is not playing. Cooper is gonna play.
Okay. I mean, again, you're not wrong on that because Cooper knows the offense. He played well last year, his one game out of 4. And then after everybody starts booing him because of his trash play, here comes Trey Lance comes in to save the day.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Don't do Cooper like that, man.
All right. And then just to finish up, last thing is about the Chargers with the 3 wide receivers. That's not really my concern about the 3 1,000-yard receivers. That's probably going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we talked about earlier, is if this team is not performing the way that it should, is Kellen Moore get promoted? Does he become interim head coach? Or will they promote somebody else within the staff, moving forward to oversee everything? Because a lot of people are talking about Kellen Moore being, the next head coach for either the Cowboys or whoever else. Maybe this is an audition tape for Kellen Moore.
Maybe. I don't know.
See what happens. All right, let's go ahead and get into the playoff picture that we have moving forward. And I'll start off with my AFC teams and NFC teams that I have as number 1 to 7 seed, and then I'll display issues. And then we will show off our our divisional picks and the Super Bowl picks. And you guys are going to get a laugh out of that. So for the AFC, I'll start off with the number 1 seed. I have the Jets, number 2, the Titans, number 3, the Chargers, number 4, the Steelers, number 5, the Dolphins, number 6, the Jaguars, and number 7, the Bengals. In the NFC side, I have the number 1 seed as the Eagles, number 2, the Saints, number 3, the Lions, number 4, the Seahawks, number 5, the Cowboys, number 6, San Francisco 49ers, number 7, there go Mr. Danny Dimes once again, getting them just limping into the playoffs there. Number 7. Ish's playoff seed looks like number 1 seed, the Chiefs, number 2, the Dolphins, number 3, the Bengals, number 4, the Jaguars, number 5, the Bills, number 6, the Jets, number 7, the Steelers. And on the NFC side, number 1 seed will be the Eagles, number 2 seed is the Saints, number 4, the Vikings, number 5, the 49ers, number 6, the Giants, and number 7, the Commanders. So, Ish, I'll stay here with you.
Mm-hmm.
let everybody know how you came out to this conclusion of the AFC teams, and AFC teams, and then
Yeah,
we'll go on to the conference championship games and go from there.
yeah. Last year I picked the Chargers to beat the Chiefs, and I'm just gonna stop picking against the Chiefs until the Chargers or the Raiders or the Broncos or anybody finds a way to beat them. I'm just gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna go ahead and pick them, and then let the rest of the division prove me wrong. So I got the Chiefs, and I got them being the number one seed. I think this year the Dolphins finally do it, man. They finally get over the hump. They finally win the East. There's a lot of competition in the East this year, except for the Patriots, and I think the Dolphins going to do it. The Bengals, I just think that right now they're the clear leaders in the North until somebody steps up and takes it away from them. Can the Steelers do it? Can the Ravens do it? The Ravens are healthy for now, so we'll have to wait and
Now,
see. But with them, you never know, and with Lamar, you never know. So we got to wait and see if he's going to be able to be healthy the entire season, and if he is, then that might just change. The Jags, I think the Jags, this is their year for the AFC South. Tennessee's really their only competition in Tennessee. I don't even think Tennessee's completely sold on what they got there right now. I think they're starting to buy in a little bit more, but I think there are also still some reservations even within the Tennessee fans. I don't know, you could tell me better, but I think the Jags, they'll win this, especially with me having Lawrence as the MVP. Bills, I think they still find a way to make the playoffs. The Jets definitely gonna make the playoffs, and then the Steelers. I just think the Steelers. Yeah, it's the Steelers. Mike Tomlin team. They're gonna win. They're gonna make the playoffs for sure. On the NFC side, I just think the Eagles right now. It's the Eagles. It's the Eagles' conference to lose at the moment. I think the Eagles are just way too good, and they've got that pretty much um, kind of solidified. But hey, we play the games for a reason, so we'll have to wait and see. I think the Saints are in for a big turnaround. I believe in Derek Carr. I think that he's in the right environment, and they're going to be able to talk some people. The Vikings, I still think the Vikings, they own the North as of right now. The Seahawks, I think they find a way to win. I do like San Francisco still, and that's why the 49ers are the fifth seed. Danny Dimes leading the Giants to the playoffs for his second year in a row. And then the Commanders. I said that the Cowboys were going to be the last team in the NFC East. Commanders beat them and they take that playoff spot. If the Commanders don't get it, then I think the Dallas Cowboys will get into the playoffs if they find a way above the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to be better than the Cowboys, so they sneak in
wow,
for me.
wow, that's a shocker there. Commanders right now, of course, not the sexiest of organizations, but I will say this Commanders organization and the team and the fan base. I mean, they have a new um, revigin. Oh, I can't say it.
Reinvigorate.
There you go, reinvigorate. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
To for this season because of the new ownership group, because of just I guess the hope this year to just get away from the Daniel Snyder era and whatnot. And I'm not saying that they're going to make it to a conference championship game, but wouldn't surprise me at all if the Commanders, make a little noise. Um, wouldn't surprise me if they make the playoffs, but I would kind of be a little surprised. Um, but we'll see how that all plans out. I'll start off first with my this now what I'm about to put it this what I'm about to display. My apologies is the conference championship matchup. So AFC, NFC, and then the Super Bowl. I'm going to do the same for Ish, and then of course we'll discuss after we display all the names and how we got to the names that we got to. So I'll start off on the AFC side. In the AFC divisional matchup, it will be the Jets and the Bengals. I have the Jets beating the Bengals, and then I have the Chargers versus the Steelers. I have the Chargers beating the Steelers. Jets in the Chargers in the AFC championship game, and I have the Jets beating the Chargers, and that's why I stated earlier. Look, if it's on the Chargers, like I feel like this is the year for them where it's either now or never. It's either Brandon Staley the guy, and we're moving forward with the Chargers, or they're gonna have to move on with Brandon Staley and move forward and figure out what other pieces need to be implemented. But Justin Herbert, I mean, he's too talented of a guy. I think he's fallen through the cracks of not getting the same type of of criticism. My apologies. The criticism that he should be getting, like we do for Lamar Jackson and then the Danny Dimes and Dak Prescott's. He deserves a little bit more criticism. So if he doesn't get it done this year and everything is working for them when it comes to defense holds up, the offense plays well, but Justin Herbert doesn't get it done. We got a question mark on Justin Herbert. On the NFC side, I have the Eagles beating the San Francisco 49ers. Also have the Saints beating the Lions. I think the Eagles are able to revenge their loss to the 49ers last year, and they are able to beat the 49ers in the divisional matchup. In the NFC Championship matchup, I have the Eagles beating the Saints. So that means the Super Bowl 58 will have the Jets versus the Eagles. And I have the Eagles doing something that is very unheard of in this day and age of football, and that's going back to the Super Bowl as the Super Bowl loser the year prior, and not just getting back to the Super Bowl, but winning it. I think the Eagles have everything in place that can get them to not just Super Bowl, but that hopefully could win it all for them. And we'll talk a little bit more about this after we discuss Ish's picks. We'll go from there. Ish, I'll let you go from here.
Yeah. So I got the Chiefs beating the Steelers, the Jets beating the Bills, and I got the Jets beating the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. I know I said I'm gonna let the field prove that they can beat the Chiefs, but I just felt like I couldn't have them. It would be too crazy to have them going back to the Super Bowl yet again. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it again, but I'm just not going to pick them to do it at the beginning of the season. That's some bad juju, so I'm not going to do it.
You didn't see the NFL commercial, the script that Patrick Mahomes get written off. Yeah, I can't go back to the Super Bowl. I get written off.
Bad juju, not doing it. So yeah, Jets beating the Chiefs, and then on the NFC side, I have the Eagles beating the Giants, unfortunately, the Saints beating the 49ers, and then the Eagles beating the Saints in the NFC Championship game, which I think is pretty much the same as what X had because it's the same Super Bowl matchup as well. I got the Jets versus the Eagles, and the Eagles winning the Super Bowl 35-21. I decided to run it back from last year because I did have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, as everybody
last year, beating the Chiefs.
I called it. I said, hey, the Eagles are going to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And then I got the matchup. And then the Eagles lost, which I was happy about, but then it would have been nice to have gotten the pick right. So maybe this is the year. If the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl again, the Eagles, hey, I'm running it back. EAGLES, Eagles. Y'all know it. You already know what it is because last year, Christine and I, we knew what was coming.
Kobe Gardner says, "I'll be a fat kid on cake if I see the Jets in the Super Bowl."
I think it's a likely possibility. They have a really, really good defense already.
Talented roster, both sides of the ball.
Yeah, talented, young roster, hungry roster.
I mean, but again, I look at that team the same way I looked at the Texans when I told you about the Texans last year. All the Jets really needed was a consistent quarterback.
Yep.
Now that you bring that guy in, I mean, it's the Aaron Rodgers show now. And then also when it comes to both of these matchups, for you, you're gonna have to be doing a lot of chanting. You got your Jets, Jets, and then you got your Eagles as well. I mean, where you go? Which side? There's gonna be a lot of green in the Super Bowl. Which side are you going for?
Man, if it play out like this, I'm definitely going for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Man, come on! If it plays out like this, yeah, the Eagles are the call.
I think this is again. If it turns out this way in Vegas with these two teams with this matchup, you got Rodgers going to his second Super Bowl. Could possibly take the Super. I'm sorry, could possibly get the Jets another Super Bowl in a span of 50 years, 54 years. The last time they won their last Super Bowl. And if he wanted to, he could walk away. I mean, he could one and done if he really wants to. The Eagles, if they win it, it allows the Eagles and Jalen Hurts to get rid of all of the stank of not just last year, but just all the naysayers of you can't make it back to a Super Bowl after losing. You can't do this, you can't do that. If you look at Jalen Hurts' record the last 2 years with the Eagles in the regular season, I mean, it's amazing. If they're able to continue to keep doing this, I mean, he's going to start putting himself in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in Philadelphia. Obviously, the Randall Cunninghams, the Donovan McNabbs. And I just think it'd be a hell of a show to watch, both sides of the ball. Obviously, the Jets have a great defense. The Eagles have a great defense. I think the Eagles, the reason why I have them as winners is their depth. I think they have depth on both sides of the ball. Obviously, that is very crucial towards the end of the season, and players are dropping off like flies. But like you said, Ish, I mean, the Chiefs, right? I mean, we keep riding them off. No, it's not going to be the Chiefs this year.
They
Not
surely
this
they can't do
time.
it again, surely, and yeah, it just keeps happening. So yeah, I'm tired of.
I'll be the one. Look, Ish, I'll say it right here, right now. If Patrick Mahomes finds a way to get this goddamn team to another Super Bowl this year, I will stop saying that we need to stop. We need to keep on waiting to say that this guy's this guy's that. I think it's already cemented that okay, he's that guy of this generation. I mean, it's no other way around it. It's pretty remarkable what he's doing, and everybody needs to just sit back and just enjoy the show because we're watching something special in play. This is Messi on the pitch. This is Michael Jordan in the '90s. I mean, this is magical. What we're watching right now. It's Tom Brady. This is Tom Brady before he got skinny. Okay, it's magical, baby. It's magical. That's what we need to do.
Magical.
All righty then. That is it for tonight's show. It's official, baby. Football is back.
It's back.
Football is back Thursday night. As we heard earlier in the show, Lions head into Kansas City, and we'll see what happens from there. Join us Sunday morning, though, for our pregame show. Hopefully, my daughter doesn't scream at the top of her lungs during the show and interrupt us, but I expect nothing less. So bear with us on that Sunday show. We're going to try our best to get this squared away for you guys, but we will be bringing in the opening weekend, week one. Of course, we won't be talking about all the games because Thursday that'll be one of the games that we'll be missing. But other than that, we'll talk about all the games on Sunday. We'll recap them on Tuesday. And welcome back. NFL is back. We're back, and we're ready to go. Ish, you got anything to say to the folks before we get on out of here?
No.
All right, again. We appreciate y'all as always for tuning in. Like I said, before we get out of here, make sure y'all tune in all season long. We got giveaways to give out. If you don't want no free stuff, then don't tune in. But if you want some free stuff,
hand delivered giveaway.
Yes, what is that? All righty then. We will see y'all on Sunday here at X Talking Ish. Thank you.